All right. So it's a pleasure for me to be part of this conference, and also after speaking after Professor Jha, whom we look up in the medical device innovation space, especially around the frugal innovation space. And we have had very long conversations about innovations and trying to create frugal innovations in resource restricted settings. And here I'm going to talk a few points about our learnings in this process, and trying to see what are the challenges that we face for creating local innovations for aging population and how to possibly overcome them. Um, so lack of appropriate technologies affects the delivery of healthcare, and it is noted that two in three people lack access to good and appropriate health technologies, and this number doubles when we talk about aging population. So I use this typical example of the crowded hospital waiting rooms, and I don't think post COVID we would be able to see these kind of scenarios anywhere. But in spite of that, the crowded waiting rooms are a common picture of people trying to get access to that limited portion of technology that is available, or limited portion of healthcare that is available in the public sector. And yeah, you can just imagine how the aging population would struggle to get through this kind of scenario to get access to that limited portion of healthcare delivery. So I kind of see this as a threefold problem, similar to the problems that are indicated by Professor Jha in the previous talk. The primary problem from a South African context is that the medical device industry, we import more than 90% of our medical devices. So when we do this, what is going to happen is it is going to restrict our focus only on technologies that are going to be used for either critical care or for some life-saving devices, or for the disease burden such as TB and HIV. But what is left out when we focus on these 90% imports is the technologies for aging, technologies for wellness, and technologies for sustaining the aging population. That's completely neglected, so which needs a special attention. And then the other side of the problem is that the access to technology, or creating relearning platforms, so that whatever the new technology that is created is accessible by the older generation. So one typical example that I see in my home is that my 1.5 year old daughter is able to access the iPhone much more fluidly compared to my 70-year-old father. So this kind of makes me think, what is the problem here? Is it the technology? Because a 2-year-old can play with the phone very well, whereas a 70-year-old is struggling to access this technology. So from a closer observation, it is not about them not able to use this technology. It is about them relearning or unlearning what they have learned about technology and relearning the new ways of intuitive access to technology. And that seems to be one of the resources that we need to create for the aging population. And the third phase of the problem is the innovation ecosystem, where we need to emphasize on funding mechanisms and incentivizing systems for technology innovation for aging specifically. And this applies to general healthcare as well. So frugal biodesign, the adoption of the biodesign principles for frugal innovations encompasses all the stakeholder interaction, going through a stringent medical device innovation process, going through IP management, again touched by the previous speaker, looking into the problem, unmet clinical need orients from a clinical interaction platform, creating public awareness, trying to know who's going to pay for the device, etc. And we need to change our focus of innovations to understand that, again, many of the things that I'm going to be saying would be very similar to what Professor Jha mentioned. It's not about creating cheaper technologies. It's about creating technologies that are more accessible and more appropriate. So the cost of ownership of technology needs to be taken into account. So one of the more important things when we take into account while we are innovating a technology is about who's going to pay for these devices, and how are we going to get this commercialized? So I always say, you don't need to design low cost solutions. Creating a solution or creating a medical devices to be cheaper is not a design problem, it is a business model problem. So if you get the business model around ways of reducing the cost, you can even subsidize a highly expensive technology to be offered at a lower cost. So two ways of innovation, patient-centric or clinician-centric. We need to, in this case, we need to be emphasizing on both the aspects of innovation. So some of the technologies that we created at the Medical Devices Lab at UCT, we have a wide variety of technologies that we have created, and our core focus is not necessarily only on aging. We also focus on clinical medical devices. So you would be seeing here technologies like the assistive devices towards an inhaler. We see that either a pediatric population or aging population struggle to activate simple inhalers, and we need to have assistive technologies like force enhancers and systems to deliver the asthma pump inhalers. Also, you'll see here the stroke rehab device. We call it the rescribe device, which is used for rewriting or rescribing, and this is for creating muscle memory towards retraining stroke survivors. And one of our most accessed technology is the Tosses crutches, 3D printable Tosses crutches that currently is being used across 13 different countries and by a number of users. So this is for myasthenia gravis, patients with myasthenia gravis with eyelids drooping. So there are several other examples. You will see that the next 4 speakers are going to be from my lab, who will be talking on various other devices that are currently being developed in the Medical Devices Lab at University of Cape Town. So I want to emphasize on a few points here, to kind of summarize the problem, the challenges that we are facing. We need to innovate or create opportunities to innovate for aging and longevity. And more importantly, we need to incentivize the innovations around aging. And currently, through our own experience, what we have seen is that technologies, especially technologies around rehab devices or technologies around assistive devices, are not necessarily considered as the preferred technology for funding. So this may be because there is not much of reimbursement methods that are available right now. So that there are several other challenges that we face. But what we also see is that we need to incentivize homegrown technologies. We need to create accessible platforms. So as I mentioned, we need to create technologies that are more understandable and adoptable by the aging population. And very specifically, we need to work on policies supporting innovations around aging. And there is one key point that I would want to emphasize here is that as much as we want to innovate and change the way that we see innovations impacting aging, we also need to creatively think about funding mechanisms to drive these innovations, because more often than not, innovations that are focused on aging related issues gets dried out because of lack of funding. So that would be one of the major challenges that we would have to overcome. With that, I would like to thank you for this opportunity, and I'm open for questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Sivarasu. We have a couple of questions from our chat. So one is, what strategies can we use to make our people learn and relearn technologies?
So the first step would be trying to understand what's the limitation for them to unlearn. Is it because they are very much used to understanding or using technologies of the previous generation or old school technologies? Because the technology is growing in such a rapid manner, such a rapid pace, even 3 years down the line, we see that those technologies are already outdated. So trying to understand or pacing between the current technology that the people of the 50s and 60s of the current world live, to get them to use the next generation technologies is going to be challenging, and we need to kind of pace this in, not necessarily force this on to the aging population. And one other yeah, thing I kind of see this is that we need to have conscious effort of teaching them technologies, or unlearning and relearning of technologies, so that we kind of create the accessibility more. So simple things like increasing the font size, right? Increasing or reducing the sensitivity of touch on your phone. I'm talking about very bare minimum technologies, like because they used to. As I said, the example, my daughter knows how to operate very well, smoothly on an iPhone, whereas my dad presses the iPhone so long that it activates the pressure sensor and opens up other options, and suddenly gets blocked with that. So we need to have a, like an airplane mode. We need to have a old age mode, or like a assistive mode, or something like that, which kind of makes the technology minimalistic. So as Professor Jha mentioned, we need to keep it minimum to ensure that it reaches the maximum. Otherwise, it's good for all the age group to use all the features, but it may not necessarily be the best thing for the aging population, because they're just starting to learn. So don't overwhelm them with a lot of options. Keep it minimal, let them learn, and gradually increase the uptake of technology.
Well, thank you very much for this very practical advice. I'm sure we could keep chatting around all these the possibilities, but we'll have to leave it for another time, so we can talk to your students who will tell us more about this wonderful research.